Redefining one of the most iconic watches of the market is not a simple task. On top of that, trying to reimagine one of the Holy Trinity's work is probably sacrilege to most watch guys. So this Pedral Maestro should feel completely wrong to me, but it doesn't. In fact, it's brilliant. And today I'm going to explain to you why I think this is the best way to bring a classic and iconic design into the modern day and onto the affordable market. My name is Jason. I'm your watch guy today. Let's have a look at it. There's a lot of big claims in that intro, but I've got to say this Maestro is fantastic, and I can see exactly why Kevin from Pedral was really excited to share it with me and every one of you. The last time I worked with Pedral was on their Artifact. I loved it because it was a fresh take on watch design and a completely new way of looking at how a watch should be displayed. Now I know that the Maestro is coming from a different standpoint. It is taking something that we know as being iconic and redeveloping it in their own thought process and style. In my opinion, it achieves that brilliantly. It takes the brilliance of a driver's watch like the Vacheron Constantin 1921, an absolute icon and a watch that I personally consider to be one of the standout pieces of the Holy Trinity, and they've redefined that in Pedral's own unique vision. The TV-like square display is highlighted with a fluted bezel, which I think works really well with the guilloche pattern throughout the dial. The upper case and sides are finely brushed with a sleek chamfered edge to them. The entire head of the watch curves into that integrated hexagonal bracelet, which makes it much more comfortable to wear. The screw down crown has a fantastic grip to it, and it fits snugly between those natural crown guards that the case provides. The lug to lug definitely feels shorter than the advertised 47.5mm, and I think that's thanks to the curvature, but I also think that the 37mm diameter was the perfect choice, giving it a little bit more heft with that square style, but still being very wearable. And I absolutely adore how thin this is, coming in just below 10mm thick. Below that sapphire crystal is a stunning green dial with that tilted aesthetic that driver's watches are known for. The guilloche pattern adds a level of sophistication and luxury to the piece overall, but I also enjoy the level of depth that step down center adds to the piece, as well as the applied numerals. The 12, 3, 6 and 9 are marked with Roman numerals, a feature that I really enjoy and something that I think makes it look a much more classic display overall, and that's exactly what this piece calls for. The lack of borders to those numerals really does highlight those points, and each of them is incredibly well loomed. The other hour points are marked with basons and surrounded by a very intricate minute track printed to the dial. The colours and textures that are used throughout the Maestro line really highlight a sophisticated look for me, especially with the guilloche iterations. They hit the light in a very beautiful way and it really stands out. The handset is heavily skeletonized and in a Pedral logo type of shape. They're also diamond cut for precision, almost giving a stained glass window type of effect. The handset is completed by an arrowhead second hand which sweeps beautifully to the edge of the dial. That's powered by the SW200 Swiss caliber movement that comes with these pieces. Finally, each hand is tipped with layers of lume for that added level of functionality whilst in low light situations. This watch is definitely one that pushes more towards an interpretation of art on the wrist, something that usually comes with a much higher cost to the consumer, especially with that Swiss caliber in the back. Whilst these are available on Kickstarter, you can have one between £530 and £620. For this much workmanship, elegance of design and caliber of specifications, I personally think that that's a very good deal. If anything, it's cheap. It's available in 5 different dial options, but for me, my favourites are the guilloche patterns. As well as that, I love the ice blue, and the aventurine, not bad at all. They're absolutely stunning, but if you did want a little bit more pizzazz on wrist, this golden green option is beautiful. I personally think that combination of a green dial and a gold tone piece is the height of prestige in the watch market. It really pushes that I've got money type of look. They've even applied a scratch resistance coating to the casing for that extra level of longevity for your piece. The elegance of this watch is even carried through into the display case back, showing off a beautiful modified rotor on that Swiss caliber movement. It incorporates the brand motif, and personally I think this really shows that they've left nothing to chance. They've really thought of every single piece of this watch, but unfortunately it does not come without any criticism. So What improvements would I like to see and what are my moans for this piece? Firstly, as I'm sure you have guessed, this is another watch that makes me really wish I was right-handed, just so I can fully get the enjoyment of that tilted dial. It's something that eliminates a section of the market that I personally belong to, and I feel like it's a real shame, but it's not really something that can be helped. Secondly, my main improvement points revolve around this bracelet. Now, it is fantastic, it fits really well to wrist, but there are a few points that I would like to see improved upon. The end links don't sit completely flush to the casing, and I'd like to see them come in slightly just to make this look more flowing in the design. The best part of an integrated bracelet is that the entire piece seems to flow together and work together, and those end links leave a little bit to be imagined in that case. Furthermore, it's a butterfly clasp, and we know how I feel about butterfly clasps. Personally, in this type of style, I rarely would have let this one go, but it's not signed at the clasp point. I think that's something that Pedral can really incorporate to make this feel like it's a much more complete piece. That's just my opinion. It gives them a little bit more recognition in those final stages, in my opinion. Otherwise, I think this piece is fantastic. It is available on Kickstarter right now, and I have linked that in the description. If you are right-handed, you like the idea of a driver's watch, and you want something with a little bit more substance of design than half of these just straight up homages on the market, Pedral is the place for you to go. It isn't just well spec'd, it also incorporates that artistic nature that I love about Pedral, especially whilst it's tipping its hat to one of the icons of the market. Thanks for watching today, guys. It's been fantastic to finally have Pedral back on the channel, and it feels really good to be back in front of the camera after my little illness. I'm really sorry if my voice sounds a little bit off today. I'm still slightly sick, but I just couldn't resist reviewing this piece. If you're interested in picking one of these up for yourself, make sure you check them out in the description. That Kickstarter is still live right now, but there's only a couple of days left. And remember, if you want more watch content, you can subscribe to the channel below. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram under the same name, and I will see you in the next one.